Before we go any further, just want to say today's video is going to be brought to you by Fandomion. If you want to buy some really awesome anime merch from My Hero Academia, Attack on Titan, and Haiku, and so many other anime, I recommend using my link in the description box to check them out. And there's free worldwide shipping on orders over $39. You'll also get an additional 5% off using my promo code down below. For any of you guys who might be interested or on the fence, I highly recommend checking out their website. Pay attention to the size chart. That'd be the biggest thing I would tell you guys. But with that being said, though, let's jump back into today's video. Yo, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy Naruto Explain here, bringing you guys another Boruto Naruto Next Generation discussion on the fallout from Boruto Chapter 76. And today we need to discuss why Chapter 76 of Boruto might be opening up that point of no return in the near future. We saw in the chapter that Shikamaru, just before he was informed by Sumire that she and Sarada were immune to Ada's powers, and she was giving Shikamaru a status update. Shikamaru found himself getting noticeably worried that Nishi and the entirety of Team E had not checked in, and that it had been quite some time before they had done so. Now, you guys know I believe this means that Code has already made his move, but that brings up the question, does Shikamaru jump to this conclusion as well? I think it's safe to assume that this will be the case, and it's for a few reasons. Shikamaru was the one who said that they needed to win over Ada because Ada was the easiest way to find Code. Code is now public enemy for Konoha. Code is also the reason why Naruto and Shikamaru have both placed Boruto under house arrest with Ada, keeping all the threats beyond their control in an isolated area. And if something were to happen where they needed to use Ada's powers to track Code and move the boys simultaneously, they have Ada to use as a tool. Sasuke even saw the logic behind what Naruto and Shikamaru were suggesting, even though he didn't agree with it. But Sasuke conceded that there was reasoning behind the action, and he would trust in Naruto's judgment. Naruto and Shikamaru want to keep Boruto and Kawaki away from Code, and Shikamaru has come to the assessment that even though Code is stronger than Jigen, since he's still weaker than Ishiki, they can at least manage Code in a way to where they can defeat him despite the huge gap in power, which makes sense given that Code doesn't have nearly the amount of hacks that Jigen did, and a fight with Code becomes a lot more of a fight like you would have against someone like Minato or Tobirama. The space-time jutsu, that's the biggest issue here, but if you can monitor the markers, i.e. if you can monitor Code's claw marks, you have a chance to win. Unlike when you're fighting against Jigen and Ishiki, where you can't use your entire ninja arsenal in their fight, you can actually use it against Code. It makes a lot of sense for Shikamaru to say that while it is going to be pain in the neck, it's going to be a manageable fight that they can win. However, since then, we've had Code name drop more than once despite us not seeing him, a subtle reminder to us as readers that Code is still out there and hasn't been forgotten by other characters in the universe, which means we as readers by extension shouldn't forget him either. Kishimoto didn't pull Akira Toriyama, where Toriyama forgot about Launch for a really long stretch of time and didn't show her again until much later on because he admittedly forgot her existence. Kishimoto has something planned for Code, hence why the name has been dropped in every chapter since he's made that Ten Tails army, despite the fact we've not seen him since then. Now we have Nishi and his team, they've gone missing. Shikamaru is only going to allow for so much more time to pass without any answer before he reaches out to others to verify their location. A disappearance when Konoha has two unknowns in the form of Ada and Daemon and a threatened Code lurking at any point in the shadows, it's going to warrant sending someone with considerable skill and deductive reasoning skills in order to investigate what happened to Team Nishi, which means by default it won't be Kiba since he's one sniff of a fart away from being knocked out. But jokes aside though, you could send someone like Sai to verify Nishi's location, but this would be something that also gets Sasuke's attention as well. Narratively, it makes a lot of sense. Sasuke was the one who figured out Code left claw marks behind as a distraction. He's the one who tracked Code to the land of snow and gathered intel on what happened at that base in such a short period of time. Sasuke is aware of Konoha on guard for Code, and Sasuke has pretty much gotten a good, decent psychological profile on Code based off all the information that's given to him to begin making educated assumptions on where Code might pop up next or what his next move might be. Sasuke might very well go to Nishi's team's last location, and Sasuke might be tracking Code from that very spot, especially since he's still got one good eye left, and legend has it that remaining eye can see chakra as a color, so he'd be able to track Code if there are any residuals of his chakra left. And then there are the Ten Tails soldiers there, so so Sasuke's gonna be able to pick up on it. In fact, Sasuke in the Boruto era has been the point of first contact for these major threats. He's the first to find Momoshiki and Kinshiki. He was the first in the manga to have the word car uttered to him, leading him to investigate the threat of car off screen. Sasuke is the one who encountered Jigen first when he went to that Ten Tails dimension and saw that Ishiki was Kaguya's partner, but also that Jigen possessed a Ten Tails. He was the first one who saw through Code's claw marks being a deception. Having Sasuke being the first one to encounter Code or those Ten Tails soldiers, that's a nice way to shake things up. The bigger issue here is that if Sasuke's alone, how does this end for him? In a situation like this, if you're Sasuke, you almost want to go alone if it's not Naruto, because if you're alone, while you might run the risk of being captured or killed, you also don't have to worry about helping others out. Time that you spend worrying about others' well-being is time that you can spend getting your own affairs in order, making your counter strategies, and getting out of the face of true danger if you need to. Having Sasuke be the one who rings the alarm bell that Code is out there somewhere is something that works from a narrative perspective. Also, just given the fact that on top of being the Shadow Hokage, handling threats before they reach the Hokage's front doorstep, we also have a funky situation where we haven't actually seen Sasuke in a true battle by himself yet. We saw a mentally nerfed and half-dead Sasuke who could barely keep his Sharingan caught on fight against Momoshiki when he got his Rinnegan destroyed, but there's been nothing since then with Sasuke. Narratively, this makes a lot of sense to have this be Sasuke's first battle since losing the Rinnegan, because it gives you an opportunity to start scaling the Ten Tails soldiers, gives you an opportunity to start scaling Sasuke, and by extension gives you an opportunity to start scaling Boruto and Kawaki when they inevitably start fighting. There hasn't been a hint of conflict, and with Boruto and Kawaki locked away to protect them from Code, this feels like a recipe for a battle that's being set up. Now, for all we know, Sasuke could have just left the village, but if he's left the village after sensing Momoshiki's presence a few chapters ago and left without any real reads on where Code's whereabouts might be, outside of learning that he left the land of snow, that's going to feel really random. I get wanting to go back to Code's hideout to see if you can pick up a trail, which you likely can't since you use space-time jutsu to escape, or if you want to see what info you can gather out of that now openly abandoned hideout, but that just feels like it would be a stretch if we end up moving Sasuke out the story for that reason, unless there's a major discovery that he comes across. We've seen wackier stuff. I remember years ago when the chapters with Naruto versus Delta came out, and the question people kept asking is like, why isn't Sasuke here? Why is Sasuke not helping with Delta? And we learned that Sasuke wasn't in the village because he was following up on another lead. I'm going to be curious to know you guys' thoughts on how this shakes out. My question to you guys is, what are you guys' thoughts about Sasuke potentially encountering Code and his army while he goes out to look for Nishi's whereabouts specifically? Is this a good way to use Sasuke, or is this just a waste? While you think that over, click here for this Naruto Explained video, or click here for this Black Clover chapter review.